35 years ago, people all over the United States made panels for the peace ribbon to wrap around the Pentagon. Today, we have some members of the Peace Ribbon Minnesota 2020 project with us.
You can find it when you look at it now, but it doesn't actually come up in the direct word.
Right, yeah, you don't get.
We were expecting many guests from Nagasaki this year, but the pandemic has kept everyone at home. This film incorporates readings from 2020 and archival footage from prior years. Takeyuki Miyanishi, the president of the Nagasaki St. Paul Sister City Committee, speaks to us through Zoom.
Hello, our friends in St. Paul. This year celebrates the 65th anniversary of Sister City exchange between Nagasaki and St. Paul. Thank you for having the Nagasaki Commemoration on August 9th Japan time. Recently, a picture book, A Bowl Full of Peace by Karen Thorson with illustration by Akira Kusaka was officially launched, and it has started to talk Sachiko Yasui's experience of Nagasaki atomic bomb to young people. This evening, I would like to talk about camphor trees in Nagasaki. The camphor trees and the Sano Shinto Shrine in Nagasaki miraculously survived the atomic bomb of August 9, 1945. We call it the hibakusha as symbols telling us the resilience to the serious incident and the importance of life. In fall of year 2004, members of Nagasaki St. Paul Sister City Committee collected about 1,000 seeds from the hibakusha. Half of the seeds were sent to our sister city St. Paul, and the remaining seeds were distributed to those who are willing to grow them in Japan. I am now standing in front of one of those growing trees planted by the student group KUSU at Nagasaki University in 2005. The tree is now 15 years old and showing its existence, the meaning of passing on life to those who are studying at the university. It might not happen often, but the tree has split into the two main stems at its middle. The tip end reaches at nearly the same height. All leaves are breathing and looking for a better sunlight. When we installed a memorial plate of the tree last year, I talked to my students that configuration of the tree might show a pivotal moment of our lives, where we need to choose one of the two routes to proceed, left or right. After years, we may recall the moment and think, what if we have chosen the other route? The kusu here shows our goal will be achieved at its best if we keep looking for a higher point. What we need to do is to think carefully whichever to choose and do the best toward to the direction of our choice. No need to wander. I don't know whether the two hibakusha at the Sano Shrine are the siblings, but the fact is both have survived the atomic bomb and keep sending us message of peace. What we learn from any matter may be a reflection of our thoughts. Perhaps who like to be a good thinker. Thank you very much. Takayuki Miyanishi.
Every year, we read the story On That Summer Day by Shomei-yo. It is a poetic story about the morning of Nagasaki on August 9th, 1945.
On That Summer Day by Shomei-yo.
I am the town of Nagasaki. I have always opened my arms to newcomers, century after century. This has been my expression of love.
August 9th, 1945. A clear sky. Puffs of white clouds drift high overhead. Another hot summer day. The huge old camphor trees are rich with leaves. Their branches vibrate with the cries of the cicadas and sway with the passing breezes. And in their cool shade, an elderly woman plays with her grandchild.
It is summer vacation and the schools are closed. The air raid alarm was lifted, and so the children are playing, some at home, some on sidewalks, yards, playgrounds, and in front of air raid shelters. Others are splashing in ponds and streams, clad only in their underwear. The war continues, but it is quiet in Nagasaki. Adults have gone off to work, and teenagers are working as mobilized laborers in the factories. A large number of medical students are attending a lecture at a college.
Young mothers are coddling their infants or giving them milk. At 11 o'clock on this tranquil summer morning, glancing up, people see great patches of blue sky amid the clouds. And just then, a single airplane appears.
Looking down from an altitude of 33,000 feet, the crew caught a glimpse of Nagasaki between a crack that opened up just there in the sea of clouds. Then the B-29 Boxcar, imitating the Enola Gay that flew to Hiroshima, dropped the second atomic bomb. The atomic bomb, nicknamed Fat Man, plunges downward toward the city of Nagasaki, where people are spending a calm summer day, knowing nothing of what is about to happen.
11:02 a.m., flash! A blinding light, brighter than the sun, envelops the city of Nagasaki, and in an instant, everything in the hypocenter area disappears from the face of the earth. Boom! Crash! A thunderous blast shakes the city, crushing people, animals, buildings, trees, and everything else under a ferocious shockwave.
In the wake, the city is strangely quiet. Tens of thousands of people are already dead, killed instantly by the flash, the heat, and the blast. Thousands more lie motionless in the rubble, horribly injured, dying, still not knowing what on earth happened.
The noon sky is as dark as dusk, and the sun hangs in the sky like a reddish black ball. Everything on the ground has been torn apart and scattered. An entire neighborhood has vanished. A tremendous mushroom cloud climbs up in the sky and casts a dark shadow over the earth.
And then all at once, tongues of fire begin to dart amid the debris. Soon the whole neighborhood is engulfed in a sea of fire, and the victims trapped under the debris and the victims suffering from terrible burns are all burned alive. Groans and whimpers and cries for help echo in the air, tainted with ash, dust, soot, and with invisible but deadly radiation. It is a living hell on earth, never seen before by human eyes.
It hurts so much. I'm afraid. Mother, Mother, where are you?
You.
Please help me. My arms, my legs.
It's hot. It's so hot.
Water, please give me some water. People with terrible burns, covered in blood, stumbled naked through the dark smoking rubble, trying to flee to safety. Overwhelmed by heat and thirst, they throw themselves into rivers, ponds, and rice paddies and die, piled one upon another amid the churning fire and smoke. And here and there, showers of black rain. Fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, grandparents, children, and babies all die, torn apart, contorted with pain.
Churches, hospitals, schools, factories are all destroyed. Teachers, nurses, students, and hundreds of foreigners are all dead. Horses, cows, beloved dogs and cats, birds and insects have all died too. And even the people who were lucky enough to escape die one after another due to radiation exposure, or live to suffer the late effects to this very day.
Can you believe that the lives of tens of thousands of people, their lives, their dreams, their hopes, could be snuffed out in an instant by the explosion of a single bomb?
Everything has changed as a result of the invention of the atomic bomb. Now, human beings can eradicate instantly all the life prospering on this beautiful planet. War springs from a spirit of hatred and conflict. Atomic bombs were born from a spirit of fear and doubt. But human beings are also capable of love, trust, understanding, and tolerance. It is this spirit of love that will bring world peace, and it will make atomic bombs unnecessary.
I am Nagasaki. I open my arms and accept with a smile and a prayer. My wish is a wish for a peaceful world without nuclear weapons. I have taken the pain and grief of the atomic bombing and turned it into love. O people of the world, will you join me in this love?
Our special guest today is Karen Stelson, author of the award-winning book Sachiko, a Nagasaki bombing survivor's story, who has just published another picture book on Sachiko's life titled A Bowl Full of Peace. Ms. Stelson met Sachiko Yasui when Sachiko visited Minnesota at the 60th anniversary of the atomic bombing. This new book shows how the lives of the hibakusha, or the atomic bomb survivors, like Sachiko, were affected by the bombing.
Hello, I'm Karen Stelson, and I'm the author of Sachiko, a Nagasaki bomb survivor's story, written for young adults. I'd like to introduce you to my new book, A Bowl Full of Peace, Sachiko's story in picture book form, illustrated by Akira Kusaka, and published by Carol Rhoda Books, Learner Publishing Group. This story captures the intensity of Sachiko's childhood growing up during World War II in Japan and surviving the atomic bombing of her city of Nagasaki on August 9th, 1945, 75 years ago. How does anyone survive such an experience, particularly a child? It's hard to imagine. Grandmother's bowl is the only object her family finds in the rubble of their home, and this bowl gives us insight into Sachiko's story. A bowl full of peace. One word you'll hear is the word itadakimasu. Traditionally spoken before eating a meal, this Japanese word means we humbly receive this food. No one knows how old grandmother's bowl is. No one remembers who made it. No one can count how many times the bowl has passed from mother to daughter. But everyone knows grandmother's bowl is precious. The city of Nagasaki sits along the Sea of Japan. Mountains rise up around the harbor, and houses made of wood with paper windows dot the hillsides. On hot afternoons, Sachiko and her brothers Aki and Ichiro chase dragonflies as cicadas buzz their summer song. In the evenings, Sachiko's family gathers together. Mother places grandmother's bowl in the middle of the low table. As always, the bowl offers good things to eat: squid, eel, octopus, and udon noodles. Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadakimasu, they whisper. As Sachiko grows older, the sounds of war come to Nagasaki. The clanging of hammers, building torpedoes, the marching of soldiers training for battle, the cries of those whose husbands, fathers, and brothers have been killed in the fighting. War for Sachiko means less and less of everything. Now grandmother's bowl offers only bits of mackerel floating in broth. But the family is still together. Even Sister Misa and little Toshi learn to press their hands together. Itadakimasu. The sounds of war grow ever closer. The grunts of boys and girls digging air raid shelters into hillsides, the wail of air raid sirens echoing through the city, the rumbles of enemy bombers flying overhead. Sachiko is eager to start school, but after the first day, the school closes. Too dangerous, says the principal, as he looks up into the sky. The family still gathers each night for the evening meal. Now grandmother's bowl offers only wheat balls floating in boiled water. Mother says, "Eat everything, children. Every bit is precious." Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadakimasu. Summer comes again. The hot month of August arrives. On August 9th, Sachiko's father visits a sick friend. Mother prepares breakfast. Aki, Achiro, and Sachiko wait at the low table. So do Misa and little Toshi. Suddenly, the air raid siren begins to wail. Everyone runs for the shelter. They leave everything behind, even grandmother's bowl. Together, they huddle in the cave with their neighbors, hoping no bombs will fall from the sky. Finally, a siren blares, all clear. Everyone sighs. Outside, Sachiko's friends ask if she would like to play house. Yes, she would. Sachiko and her friends laugh together and make mud dumplings with their small hands. An enemy bomber rumbles high above the clouds. No one notices until it is too late. Sachiko looks around her. What happened? Father, mother, Sachiko, and Misa survive. Brothers Aki and Achiro do too. But not Toshi. Little Toshi is killed in the blast. Through the day and into the night, fires burn across the city. Early in the morning, Sachiko's father makes a decision. We must leave Nagasaki. A train is coming to take us away from the city. We must go now. Follow me. Everywhere people are suffering. I'm so thirsty, voices whisper. Water, please. Please, water. In a small hospital away from Nagasaki, Sachiko's brothers are now very sick. No one understands why. No one understands it is because of the radiation from the bomb. Aki dies. Then Achiro dies. Sachiko and Sister Misa become ill, and so do mother and father. Ice chips help soothe their burning throats, but nothing can stop the pain. Not even the end of the war. 2 years pass before Sachiko's family returns to Nagasaki. Sachiko's father digs through the rubble that was once their home. Something glimmers in the dust. Something green and shiny. Grandmother's bowl. It has survived without a chip or crack. Everyone in Sachiko's family has touched this bowl. Everyone has eaten from it, even Aki, Achiro, and little Toshi. At their evening meal, Sachiko's mother places the precious bowl in the middle of a wooden crate. Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadakimasu. As cicadas sing their summer song, another August 9th arrives. In the morning, Sachiko's family kneels in front of the wooden crate. This time, Mother fills grandmother's bowl with ice. Sachiko's mother speaks softly. We must never forget what happened on this day. Remember how a chip of ice eased our thirst? As the ice melts, let us remember all who suffered and all who died. We must pray that such a terrible war never happens again. 5 years pass. The radiation from the bomb makes more people sick. Sachiko's sister becomes ill and dies. Another 5 years pass. Sachiko's father becomes ill and dies. Each August, Sachiko's mother fills grandmother's bowl with ice. Sachiko and her mother watch the ice melt. Together they remember what happened, and together They pray for peace. And then Sachiko's mother becomes ill and dies. In August, Sachiko fills grandmother's bowl with ice. She bows her head as the ice melts. Grandmother's bowl is now Sachiko's to care for. Sachiko fills grandmother's bowl with good things to eat just as her mother did. She presses her hands together and bows her head. Itadakimasu. 1 August 9th, 50 years after the war's end. Sachiko fills grandmother's bowl with ice. She can no longer be silent about what happened to her. She must tell her story. The world must know that such a bomb can never be used again. That evening, Sachiko stands before a group of children and shares her story for the first time. She begins, "What happened to me must never happen to you." And the children listened.
We will now ring the Nagasaki bell, a gift to the Sister City Committee, to mark our moment of silence.
If you would stand for our moment of silence.
St. Paul and Nagasaki have had a sister city relationship for 65 years. One symbol of our relationship is the Global Harmony Labyrinth, which shows two hands clasped together around the earth in friendship. The labyrinth was designed by St. Paul artist Cynthia McKean and was dedicated in 2005. The annual Nagasaki Commemoration has taken place in this sacred space since 2007. I would like to introduce Cynthia McKean, designer of the labyrinth, to speak about its symbolism.
In Taoist writing, there is a statement I have found pleasing since I first read it as a student long ago. The purpose of life is not the destination, it is the course we take to get there. I have been asked a number of times to speak about how one designs a labyrinth. It has come down through time as a metaphor for the journey. St. Paul Nagasaki Sister City Committee has been engaged in a very special journey since it was created in 1955. Those who laid the groundwork for this relationship were inspired and brave. In a post-war world left with terrible wounds on all sides, the forging of this first friendship of its kind was a big step toward healing. From the beginning of St. Paul Nagasaki's efforts to create a site commemorating our sister cities' relationship, the intent was to do it in a way that emphasized the Peace Charter. The term global harmony is taken from that document. I was honored to be asked to design a global harmony symbol for the anniversary observance in 1995. The directive to me as an artist was to design something that spoke to the uniqueness of the bond between two such different cultures, a symbol of peace. A second request soon followed to create a labyrinth based on that symbol. Global harmony is a good theme for a labyrinth, which itself can be a device to bring inner peace. The creation of the new labyrinth was thought to be important as a mark of our reaching out to another culture with differing history, religious traditions, and life outlooks, a fresh gesture of abiding friendship. Although Christianity has a remarkable history in Nagasaki, it is only one of several faiths embraced by the populace. The Global Harmony design attempts to bridge all faiths. To describe its elements separately, the sphere represents the earth. The line expressing yin-yang represents the relationship of opposite elements mutually essential to the wholeness of both. The hands represent human effort to maintain balance. For general graphic use, the logo or labyrinth sits at a tilt, like the world itself, to reflect equality between East and West. In this way, one can envision the world turning so that one hand is never always in a top position. There is no conscious effort to create numerical meanings as are found in many labyrinths. The messages here concern global friendship and peace. Every year, we enjoy welcoming many kinds of guests to this labyrinth. Please come.
Hi, I'm St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter. As we mark the 65th year of our sister city relationship with Nagasaki, I'm proud and grateful for the history of exchange, of relationship, of culture sharing that we have shared between our two cities to bridge the world between us, especially amid this global pandemic that has us separated from people we live right next door to. It's important that we continue to think about how we spiritually connect with one another across our neighborhoods and across the globe. The symbols of our lasting friendship, such as the constellation Earth sculpture in the Nagasaki Peace Park and the gift of cherry trees at our Como Park, are lasting symbols and lasting reminders of our commitment to unity. As we mark 75 years since the Nagasaki bombing at the Global Harmony Labyrinth in Como Park, and share the stories and history of those whose lives were forever changed by that event, let us recommit ourselves to unity. Let us recommit ourselves to peace. On behalf of all of us here in St. Paul, we stand together with you, physically distant, but socially connected in our fight for human dignity, in our fight for harmony, in our fight for peace across our entire globe. Thank you so much for this long-standing relationship, and we in St. Paul look forward to 65 more years.